All right, this video is about nonprofit organizations. So first of all, so far in Chapter 8, we've been talking about different types of businesses, sole proprietorships, partnerships, corporations, and franchises. But we are under the assumption that all of these businesses are in with the intention of trying to make a profit. In other words, whoever owns it's trying to make money. However, not all businesses actually fall under that category. So this is actually looking at what we call nonprofit organizations. So nonprofit organizations in general are a business that basically does not try and make money. They don't try and seek a profit. So what are they in business for? To help people. They try and promote the benefit of others. So they're trying to help people. These are the warm, fuzzy, touchy-feely kinds of companies, right? We're not trying to make money. We're just trying to help people. So can you think of some examples of nonprofits already that you know? Probably like, St. Vincent de Paul, Goodwill, those are nonprofits. All churches are nonprofits. You also have almost every school is nonprofit, including Chittard is nonprofit. Colleges are nonprofit, believe it or not. There's lots of other organizations. Now, everybody gets caught up on the whole, well, geez, if they're nonprofit, then why do they charge money? That makes no sense. What, when I go to Goodwill or to go and buy something, why do I have to pay for it? Somebody donated that. Well, if you think about it, they do because, hey, they have to charge money for whatever the business is providing because they have to pay their employees. They still have to pay there's people that work there that get paid. They have to pay for the electric bill. They have to pay for a water bill and like probably trash and maybe sewer, and they maybe have to pay rent for the space and maybe healthcare for their employees. All of that costs money. So even though nonprofits are not trying to make a profit, they still charge money because they need to be able to pay for things to be able to provide that good or service, which, for example, is why Chittard still charges tuition, even though it's a private school. We have to charge tuition because we don't get money from the federal government or enough money from the federal government to be able to, or the state government to be able to pay for all the things that go into providing a school. So that's generally what a nonprofit is. Now, we're going to talk about several types of nonprofits that you need to be aware of. So the first type of nonprofit that I want to tell you about in this video is what we call a cooperative. So a cooperative is a business that operates for the shared benefits of its owners. And I know that's a very vague definition, but in general, a cooperative just brings a bunch of people together and they are all kind of a part owner in the business with the intention of providing something to the people that are owning it, basically. Now, there are several subtypes of nonprofit or subtypes of cooperatives. So that's what we're going to be focusing in on. So the first type of cooperative is what we call a consumer cooperative. Now, consumer cooperative is a business or a nonprofit that's going to purchase goods in large quantities. So they're going to purchase things in bulk and sell it to its members at cost. So a really good example of a consumer cooperative, okay? Consumer cooperatives oftentimes also particularly revolve around food, I'll be honest. But you could do a consumer cooperative, like, for example, I know that friends of mine that still live in my hometown, they belong to a consumer cooperative, particularly it's a farm co-op. So they are really, really health conscious, and they're really interested in knowing what goes into being having their food made and, like actual seeing it grown and being involved in that. But they don't have the space because they live in the city. They don't have the space to have a large enough garden to be able to provide for their family. So they are part of a co-op. So what they do is they actually go and they pay to be part of this group that basically rents this farmland, and then they can either pay to be have somebody else work the farmland for them, or to be able to reduce their fees, they can go and basically donate their time instead of paying as much money. And then when it comes time to harvest, they will go and harvest all of the fruits and vegetables and crops, whatever they get out of it, and then they will divide it up equally among the owners of the co-op. And so that's consumer cooperative. Another example, and I've never known anybody to actually do this, but I think this would be a great idea. By the way, you could totally take this, guys. But what if you're talking about, for example, in college, where maybe in the dorms, probably not in the dorms, but maybe if like an apartment complex and there's a whole bunch of, college students where you're living in the apartment complex and you don't have a whole lot of space to be able to store things, but it's cheaper to, for example, buy some things at, Sam's Club or Costco. So what you do is you get a group of you together and you buy one Sam's Club or one Costco membership. And then you make a group grocery list, so to speak. You send the person to the store, they go buy the stuff at Sam's Club or Costco because, hey, I go buy a big, huge packet of toilet paper. Well, geez, if I'm living in an apartment, I don't have a place to be able to put all that. However, if it's a lot cheaper that way. So what I can do is I can buy a big pack, bring it back, open it up, sell it to each of the members of the co-op at cost, okay? And it'd be a lot cheaper, and I wouldn't have to store all of it. So that would be a great idea for consumer cooperative. Now, I'm not saying Sam's Club or Costco is a consumer cooperative. They are not a nonprofit, but a group that uses that kind of a place, that could be a consumer cooperative. Another cooperative is a service co-op. A service co-op just offers their members a service. The best example of a service co-op is actually a credit union. So I don't know, how many of you belong to a credit union? Anybody know what a credit union does? Well, if you know anybody that belongs to a credit union is basically a bank. It's like a bank, right? The only difference with a credit union is that it's a nonprofit organization. So they're not really in business to try and make a buck off from you, whereas a bank is. What does that mean? Well, think about it. What do you use a bank for? Well, probably to save money. So you're putting money into a savings account or a checking account. And at some point, you may need to borrow money, maybe for a car loan or for a house or college loans, whatever. So that's basically what you use a bank for, those two reasons: save money and borrow money. Well, if you go to a bank, okay, they're trying to make money off from you. So if you think about it, the interest they charge you on the loan that you're going to borrow to, get a loan to be able to buy a car, the interest for the bank is going to be a lot higher because they want to make money off from this. And the interest they pay you on keeping your savings at the bank is probably going to be a lot lower because they don't want to share. But a credit union has the opposite. So a credit union is going to offer a little bit higher interest on a savings account, but they're going to offer a lower interest rate on a loan. Why? Because they're just trying to help you. They just want to, hey, yeah, we get it. You don't have the money to be able to buy a car right now, so we're going to give you a loan at a low enough interest rate. We're going to still charge you interest because, we got to pay our employees. We got to keep the lights on. So the nice thing, however, is that you can use both a bank and a credit union. You could have your savings account at a bank and get a loan from a credit union. I've done that, for example. I got a loan from a credit union way back when from TCU. The only requirement was I had to have an account at TCU first. And so I opened an account because I'd never had an account there. Opened an account and the minimum balance is $5. So for the longest time, I had a $5 banking account at TCU just to have my car loan. It works. All right, the last type of cooperative is what we call a producer cooperative. And a producer cooperative is when you get together a bunch of producers and try and basically market their product together. It's mostly for agricultural producers, simply because it's trying to get all of the farmers a good, stable price. So a good example of this is that there's a coffee cooperative. So for coffee bean farmers, they can all go in and sell all of their coffee beans at a fair price. Because if you think about it, if you have one coffee bean farmer, for example, let's say we're going to sell a Starbucks, they're a huge buyer. And I go in with my, however many pounds of coffee beans I have. Maybe I have, I don't have very many. Maybe I have 100 pounds of coffee beans that I'm going to sell. Well, Starbucks has to negotiate with me individually, and then they have the next coffee bean farmer come in, and maybe they negotiate a different price with that guy. Well, that's not fair because maybe that guy has more beans to sell them. So the producer cooperatives gets all of them together and say, okay, they can all go to Starbucks and say, hey, collectively, we have, I don't know, 200,000 pounds of coffee beans. What price will you give us per pound? Okay, so then as a result, it becomes more of a collective bargain type of thing. All right, those are the three main types of cooperatives. That's all I wanted to talk about in this video. In the next video, I will talk about a couple other types of nonprofits other than cooperatives, but I just wanted to hit cooperatives in this video. All right, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions.